Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Speaking Truth to Goodness, where we seek joy and purpose on a burning planet. I'm one of your hosts, Patti Robron, and I'm here alongside Jerry Atkin and Michaela McCormick. In today's episode, we're focusing on concrete strategies for activism, expanding the idea of affinity groups, and discussing how technology can play a role in connecting and mobilizing us. We're drawing inspiration from the past and looking forward to the future, contemplating how we can bring more people into the fold of activism and create spaces where connection flourishes. It's about understanding the diverse communities we're part of and leveraging our collective strength for change. So, stay tuned as we delve into these topics and more. And as always, we love hearing from you. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram to join the conversation. Here we are. We started today with the idea that it would be about challenges and strategies.
We really were just talking about the real challenges for people who have sometimes been labeled activists.
Challenges around communication.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of all of our differences that intersect.
Uh-huh. Yes, all our differences in how they connect.
There you go. Trying to avoid.
Intersect.
I'm trying to avoid the word. I don't want to
Sounds
make
like
him
a
angry.
cockroach. Oh, look, there's an intersect smash.
That's so funny, Jerry. Yeah. We're understanding that a big part of our challenge is communicating because we're all so different and we're coming to things from different places. Our language puts us in different understandings of things. We're seeing that there needs to be connection, but that it's going to look different probably than it has. But we don't quite know what that is yet. We have a lot to listen to from younger folks, more melanated folks. I also want to really make sure that we're getting after the thing that we set out with Michaela, right? Because you were willing to come join this, not knowing really what it's about.
Because we didn't either.
Well, and you seem to feel strongly about concrete strategies.
Yeah, I have. It's because I have been frustrated for many years now about not figuring out myself and the other activists I've worked with what more effective strategies could be, and so I'm just and understanding the urgency of the situation now. It just seems like now is the time.
Yeah.
This conversation, as I have felt in all our conversations, is we actually go really deep into this stuff. I feel like we exposed, for me, this, because I start with how I talk to working people and farm workers. So it's like, oh, no, there are these other communities and these other generations that and I've been, it's at least 10 years out of the mix, so I'm way out of touch. I wasn't so out of touch when I was sort of in the middle of things, but it's just so good to just realize the complexity of what we're doing, that we have to be thoughtful in, I think, ways that we haven't been thoughtful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've been trying to do what we do well and do it effectively without looking at whether that's exactly what we should be doing and with whom we should be doing it.
Yeah.
And I see this role of support. So right now we're trying to generate stuff, and I think that's important, and we should do it. But maybe our goal is really to figure out concretely how to support younger activists.
Mm-hmm. Well, my thought now is that we need to think about how we involve in our conversation those who aren't necessarily the ones that are not activists yet, but the ones who know those people. So once removed from us. Because we all know other activists who are part of communities that we're not part of.
What I know about when you reach upper levels of stuff, it's completely different. So I have a friend who was a contractor, kind of high-end contracting, and when you get to a certain level, then you get a contract to go and put UV film on the windows of the Winter Palace in Moscow, or someone calls you up and says, "You want to go skiing this weekend? Where are we going?" Gstaad. I mean, really? It's like it's a different world.
Yeah.
Another example is my poet friend, my twin poet friends. When you get sort of to a certain level, they get to do cool shit. They get to do, they got to work with Third Angle, which is sort of the experimental music branch of the Philharmonic. Or you get to go to England. And anyway, all I'm just saying, or you become really good friends with Thomas Lauderdale, or maybe you spend a lot of time with Steven Spielberg and it's just like, it's another world. All the rules are different. All the dynamics are different.
That's worth realizing too, is that when we're talking about reaching people, we probably don't have any idea of like
Right.
those folks. Like
I
wouldn't be able to know what kind of messaging would be the right thing because I don't understand anything about how they would see the world.
Gag. I think you, before I say something that's going to make me bilious, see, there's a big word.
Well, I don't even know that one. Are you serious? Okay, you get a gold star for the day because you said a word I don't know.
I don't know the meaning of that either.
Bilious means like it's more money than you can count. It's like bilious. No, it means to make you want to throw up.
Oh.
But what works for both?
Yeah, it's funny how close that is to billions. Interesting.
I forgot what made me bilious. Or bilious. This is
My
not-
grand plan is still ready. Or at least the first iteration.
Is this part of what motivated you to do this podcast? What you have written there?
I think so, actually, because I was just realizing only a few pages later I have things about the podcast already. Oh, I've got naughty stuff in there. Okay. I don't have filters anymore, Michaela. They broke in the pandemic. I'm serious. They broke. Yeah, somewhere in here. But yeah, these pages, I had a whole thought around getting more people involved because I feel really strongly that there are folks. Sorry, I know you want to be done.
No, not
Okay.
necessarily.
Okay. Just because I think there are a lot of folks who would love to participate, but they don't have like the overarching, I want to move toward a goal type thing. But they're like, if they see someone who is doing the work, they might want to help. And I feel like we could separate out tiny jobs, right, to give to people so that, maybe they've only got a couple hours a week. But
Yeah,
if they're updating this particular file, right, because there's techie people out there, or they're good at social media, or they can edit images or whatever, right? Like there's people out there
So, but
who would give
only you
time.
can reach them because it has to be through social media.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it may not be the last place we interact with them. It might just be the start. But how else?
Well, right. That's exactly what we
You know?
want. We want
Yeah.
the first step of the journey of 1,000 miles is a single step.
I even had a whole thing on here of digital activism, I believe. I'll be curious to see how thoughts have changed. But it took me a while to really accept the affinity group idea, but I really do like it now.
Right. Even though we don't have it.
Yeah, but if it if it worked, it makes sense to me,
Oh, no. It absolutely makes sense.
right?
I mean,
Like, but I don't think we're going broad enough with what it means. Like, I think affinity group has a really specific meaning
It does.
to people who are familiar with it. And so I'm speaking about it from my like not familiar with the official version, but just in my mind thinking like, you
It
know,
was developed around the anti-nuke movement. That's where it really got
really.
Yeah.
developed in the
70s.
50s by women, it seems to me.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Duh.
Well, just thinking.
And we used it a lot on the WTO stuff 20 years ago. That was, were you part of that?
No.
I mean, it was the most amazing gathering of committed, creative, brilliant people. And there had to be 20,000 people, seems to me. I mean, maybe, but I think 20,000 people. And the level of creativity was like off the hook. So it was driven by this group, Art and Rev. So Rebecca Solnit's brother, David, you know Rebecca Solnit.
Sure.
Do you know Rebecca Solnit?
I know the names of the
Yeah.
Solnit
And
couple there, twins, whatever they are.
so Art and Rev was one of the driving force. Art and Revolution was one of the driving forces behind the organizing, and that we had a pretty strong group here in Portland that were kind of involved in some of the design of the whole thing.
Mm.
One of them is a close friend who I really need to see, and I haven't seen, and I'm going to call her as soon as you all leave. So she was head of Basic Rights Oregon for a lot of years,
Oh.
which is, Basic Rights Oregon.
Yes, I do.
How would you describe Basic Rights Oregon to Patti, who doesn't know about it?
It's an advocacy group for people of primarily different sexual and gender identities.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, human rights in general, but specifically around issues of
Okay.
LGBTQ people.
Seen Basic Rights Oregon somewhere.
It's sort of the premier organization of its kind in the state. It's
Okay.
a pretty big deal.
So she couldn't do the Basic Rights Oregon work in an effective way online after the pandemic began?
There's a lot of stress. So the isolation
Yeah.
and that was just too much. She's so brilliant and so amazing, and I love her so much.
What's her name?
Nancy Hawk, first generation from Bangladesh, founders from Bangladesh.
Mm.
Oh.
And she's brilliant, an amazing writer, and started being an activist when she was 10. Started with animal rights, and then, I can't remember. It's like, I can see her at 10 running around organizing, like, this one random story. So she went to a master's program at Amherst, I think. And so she started a group on campus around issues of racism, basically. And so when they had a meeting with the chancellor, he walked up to her and said, "Could you go get me a cup of coffee?" No, actually I couldn't. You piece of shit. Yeah, South Asian woman. Of course I'm here to get your coffee.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's so gross.
Oh, so I am going to call Nancy. I love Nancy. God. I feel like people do not fully understand the importance of staying connected. That our survival as humans and as a movement absolutely require us to keep the people who we have worked with most closely connected.
Yeah.
And we don't do it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've been, I think, progressively ignoring that for many, many decades. You know, we were, when I was growing up, America, I always heard America referred to as a country that's always on the move. And that was, my family was a part of that. We moved a lot in my growing up years. For the sake of economics, basically. And move to online socializing has just deepened that trend.
Started in the Depression, when people had to travel to work to survive,
Yeah.
and so families were broken, communities were broken, all the social structures that held things together.
Mm-hmm.
The generation that followed all wanted to, go
But don't you think that
to the
if
city.
families and communities were nourishing
Right.
the people in them, that
Right.
they would have looked to
Right.
maintain or rebuild that?
And
I don't think the family nourishment was necessarily missing. I think of the Great Migration of African Americans from the South to the North and West.
to Vanport.
Yeah, I mean many of them left close family members
Right.
because of racism and because there weren't any work opportunities.
True.
But we had, starting with my generation, we had the luxury of moving away from our mothers-in-law.
Yep.
It wasn't necessarily necessary for me to move all the way across the country, away from my birth family.
Right.
Yeah, we lost a lot in that mobility.
Now, if we look at the changes that are taking place now, it might not be that different. In other words, the social structures that held communities together would have been eroded by this generation of technology that means you can be friends with somebody
Mm-hmm.
1,000 miles away
Yeah.
as easily as you can with someone next door.
Right.
That's kind of weird.
And it's the younger generation that feels like that's cool and like they can connect that way. And I know that has a level of skepticism from y'all, and I understand that, but I don't know if that's what their experience is that they're telling me. I don't know how to disagree with it.
But the statistics that say people are lonely and have some high percentage can't identify a best friend, a close friend.
That's okay. That's fair. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's a trade-off, right?
Yeah. That's going to be a big thing for us to maintain and develop an understanding of as we move forward in activist work. Because there's
you.
Huh?
Oh, God, I'm
Sorry.
tired. As always.
we've definitely hit the
Every
limit.
time I go to have fun at Patty's house, I fall asleep. But just briefly, I just nod off because I'm not sleeping. I'm not,
Yeah.
It's not that it's boring.
Oh, Jerry.
So sometimes the snake lady. No, I love the snake lady.
Patti, how do you feel about the value of your connections with people online as opposed to in the flesh?
That's a great question. So I have been pleasantly surprised to find that at least with people I have known for a significant amount of time outside of digital, that I've known in real life, maintaining a relationship with them digitally has been wonderful, actually. Because I saw my sister recently and hadn't seen her since we were in India together 4 years ago. And because I talk to her audibly regularly, and also quite regularly we video call with each other. She showed up and I was like, hey. I mean, I didn't have that like, oh, it's been so long since I've seen you. That feeling just wasn't, because I remember that feeling from when I was a kid, when you hadn't seen someone for a long time and you see them again, there's a feeling with that. I didn't get that. And I noticed that even many years ago, pre-pandemic, when I lived in Minnesota and my best friend Pam still lived in Wisconsin, and she would come and visit pretty often while I had littles. And there was a time I think I didn't see her for more than 6 months. And she showed up and I'm just like, yeah, there you are. Like, to me, the thing I noticed that was different was the smell.
The smell.
What?
Yes. Like, not a bad thing, but like you hug your friend and you're like, it smells like my friend.
Yeah.
So that was maybe the piece I would say I feel like is missing. But otherwise, that maintenance of a relationship, if they're my deepest people,
Yeah.
tends to work fine.
But you're talking about relationships that began in the flesh.
Right.
I'm wondering.
You're right about that.
I'm wondering about people
Online
who you
friends.
made the initial connection with digitally.
Yeah. And you might have got me there, because that's something I haven't done a lot of.
Mm.
At least as far as like a deep personal connection.
Ah,
I fully feel fine that I could get to know someone and like understand that their values were similar enough to mine to do work with them online. But I do think that's really worth thinking about.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
for me, it hasn't happened. But I will say, when I was in early mom life, I had a friend who was a co-leader of a La Leche League group with me. And she was much more introverted than I am even. And she did a lot of reading, to the point that she was involved in like online discussion groups and book trade groups and things like that. And she had friends that she felt, she explained it to me for all the world. She felt like these people that she had never met in real life, she counted them among her friends in the same way she did me and our other friend, you know? And it didn't make sense to me then, and it still doesn't now, but what can I do but believe her that those were good relationships. Now, granted, those relationships were based on books, like on this one specific topic. So maybe that makes it different. I mean, they got personal, you know, they got to know each other. I don't know.
I have a lot of relationships now. Extinction Rebellion started online.
Oh, yeah.
Relationship with people in my book group started online. Those are the prime examples right now. But also years ago, as the pandemic came down, I ran my Queer Dharma group online for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
And many of those people came for the first time when they didn't come in person, when we were meeting in person for several years before that.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they came online where they hadn't come in person.
Right. And it's not the same. There's not the same depth and trust.
I mean, I do think that's that's the unanswered question, which is the in-person kinds of connections of friendship, doing things together, being in struggles together, whatever. I don't know what happens if that piece is removed.
For most of human history at this point, the only people we had available to us to connect with was just who we lived with and who lived in our neighborhoods. Right? And so, I'm sure it comes with something we're missing too, but the fact that you could meet people online specifically who were interested in the Queer Dharma group. You know, it's like that the online makes it easier to encounter them. But then you have that as your focus.
Yeah, but what's missing is the spontaneous stumbles that one makes, and how the people that you're with respond to that. I'm thinking of years ago when I was organizer of the Poor People's Campaign here in Oregon. We got together most often in person, and that's certainly how we started out.
Yeah.
And I remember once we had a meeting in Salem to include people down there with us at a church, and a number of us came from Portland with coffee and food to serve everybody. It was an all-day retreat, and I remember starting to make coffee in their coffee maker for the first time in many, many years. I had forgotten where to pour the water in the coffee maker, and I poured it in the wrong place and started it up, and I waited a while. nothing seems to be happening here. What's wrong? And I was sort of complaining out loud. And other people, my fellow organizers and friends at that point, came and looked at it and said, "Oh, well, you put the water in the wrong place." They didn't make a fuss. There wasn't some kind of, "Jesus, Michaela, what the hell are you doing?" And that builds a kind of trust that you don't get online, where you're not really doing things in that spontaneous, practical, got to get it done for the sake of the group way. You don't encounter those kinds of opportunities to either be trusted or not.
Oh, I just remember our meeting, in that first meeting, where you said you were in awe of me, and I said, no, I'm in awe of you.
Mm-hmm.
That couldn't happen online.
That's probably true.
But and that's not, it's not saying online connections. It's a new world. It's a new world.
Yeah, I don't think it's a either or. It's a yes and. It has to be.
Well, we hope.
We
don't
hope.
know.
Well, I mean, if the pandemic had gone worse than it did, and this virus was worse than it is, we would be figuring out a new way to exist apart from each other. Right? Like if this was a thing that
See, I missed,
killed a lot more people than it did.
I missed COVID in a sense because, I mean, the bad part of COVID for Lee and I was Lee's cognitive functioning was very, very, very low, but her emotional world was still very rich, and there was nothing for her. No family, even I would get tired of me after a while. Oh, I did get tired. I do get tired of me. So that period. I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm just remembering.
You were saying Lee's didn't have emotional connections with most people in that time.
Yeah, and so basically she had nothing in her life to enrich it.
Right.
I mean, she couldn't watch television, didn't want to listen to music particularly.
Oh.
So her world just so my world, I think I'm just saying, yeah, my world shrunk down to literally the world was dealing with this disease. And I may not have fully recovered from it yet. It's hard to know. What's aging, what's PTSD, what's the effect of being removed from my activist life, which was never an activist life. My life was a creating of a generative space. Now there's a big word I like, generative, as opposed to degenerative, which are the diseases that I hate, but generative, creating life out of. And I was able to live most of my life just doing that. I never had a plan. I never had an ambition, ever, except to heal the world.
Just a little thing.
A little thing. Well, bringing back the buffalo, but that wasn't an active plan. That was like how I would know I had been successful in my life is if the buffalo returned in their original strength. Didn't happen yet. I had this image. I don't know if it was a dream or whether just I'm in a theater. There's a screen. There were buffalo on the screen, and then they become three-dimensional and come out of the screen, and to sort of the whole, by their thousands, trample over the theater and out into. And I was like, wow, the thunder of their just like. Well, we'll see that our world is unfolding around us, and we're more insulated from it. And you're, in a sense, insulated from some aspects of it because your wild animals aren't in the larger herd, right? They're influenced, and I mean, has her martial arts community.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to.
She goes to school.
She goes to school to observe, as you say,
Gonna
to see how.
figure out the ways of her
Right.
kind. Yes,
But they haven't been socialized in a sense,
I guess
in the way
not.
that a lot of young people are by that age. They're pretty much locked in. Neither one of them are locked into anything.
Do you think sees itself as a part, generally, outside of your family?
Oh, like she sees herself. Does she see herself outside of the family? Like, that's a
Does
good
she
question.
see herself as apart from like the people she goes to school with?
I assume she's very personable. I assume that she has friends would be attracted to her.
I think that part's all going fine, but I guess to your question, I think she does feel different.
Yeah.
Like she sees them as the children.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, that could be on my plate of wrongdoing potentially, but I mean, I raised her in an adult world, not like in a weird way.
You mean because of homeschooling?
Yeah, like we just went and did life. We go to the stores, we go and we take tours of places, we explore buildings, we look at, like we interacted with adults in the real world. And so, and so now she really, I think she does kind of see her experience at school as like understanding this species. So for example, her first week in school last January, they had to start doing like passes to go to the bathroom out of class because there was boys smearing shit on the walls of the bathrooms. So, and for right or wrong, what I told her was animals behave differently in captivity. And maybe that's wrong of me to see it that way, but
No, it's not wrong of you. It's
I really
subversive
don't.
of you.
I really don't think that your average 12, 13-year-old kid, if they're feeling good about life, is going to think it's a great idea to smear shit on the wall. That's a, like, I need to have some autonomy moment,
So, but she was in the same. Or did you consider her at that time in the same captive space as them?
Did I consider her?
In other words, this captive
if you
space
saw
is-
them in captivity, was she also in captivity?
Kind of, but what she will say herself is that she chose to be there.
Chose
Because
what?
she never went by my directive. She only went when she decided she wanted to.
To public school?
Yeah. And so I think she sees it differently because she says, I actually want to learn when I'm here. And all these kids were forced to be here. And I mean, how gross is the bells? Like having bells ring to make you get up and go do your next thing? I'm sorry, that is training for working in a factory.
It is. Well, that's how it was designed.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely it was. And I would say that over and over as a homeschool parent, and people would just be like, huh? Yes, it's training.
When my daughter, younger daughter, was in second grade, she was like a wild animal, and she learned to sit with her hands on her desk, and I said, I've never paid you for grades before, but if you get a U unsatisfactory for behavior, $5. Didn't work though, but it was a phase. I mean, by the next year she had reverted to her other kinds of behavior.
This is your sister. Your sister?
No, my daughter,
Your daughter.
my younger daughter. So she's got to be mid-50s. Yeah, life is complicated. What I feel for, I don't think their life's going to be easy. I think they're not going to fit in because they're different. They're a different species. They're wild animals.
I'm not sure if I should
Kids.
feel bad or proud about that, to
No,
be
I
honest.
think you have to feel good, even though it's. If I am incredibly proud of how you have raised these children, and Do you want them to fit into a dysfunctional, destructive system?
I mean, that's
Not
the
really.
thing.
Is it difficult to be outside? So there's whose quote is it? Paul Goodman's. To be in an insane society is to be insane. To be outside the only society you have is to be insane. The answer is to stand in love. And I've just added together to that. But it's like, there's no winning strategy in this society. This society is toxic. There's no way to avoid it. If you create survival skills, which I think you are doing, they have the best shot. But they are so inherently beautiful in who they are. They're insanely good.
But every child is.
Hmm?
But every child is.
Given the opportunity. What you've
Exactly.
done is give them the opportunity. Will it go easily? No. I've been an outsider all my life. It's not easy. I fake it. I can look good, but I'm isolated all the time. Except when I'm 12 and hanging out with, or 14 and hanging out with. I love them so much. And they love me. Oh my goodness.
Well, thanks, y'all.
Get out.
Good job. That was
Here's
3
the deal.
hours. So,
Because I have to go to Beethoven's Ninth Symphony as a schnitz tonight.
poor you.
Oh, nice.
Really
Yeah.
scraping the bottom of the barrel for things to do, aren't you?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I have to change my clothes and clean myself up to go to the
Schnitz.
symphony.
Lovely. As we conclude today's discussion on strategies, affinity groups, and the role of technology in activism, it's clear that the path forward is both complex and promising. Jerry, Michaela, and I are grateful for the opportunity to share these thoughts with you and to dream together of a world where every action, every connection counts. We're inspired by the possibilities that lie ahead and the potential for each of us to contribute to a movement that embraces diversity, demands justice, and nurtures the human spirit. Our journey today has underscored the importance of inclusivity, the power of art in revolution, and the undeniable role technology can play in knitting us closer, despite our skepticism. Remember that activism isn't just about the grand gestures. It's in the small, daily acts of kindness, the willingness to listen, and the courage to step into spaces where we can truly make a difference. Your voice and your actions are pivotal in this collective endeavor to forge a more compassionate world. Please continue to engage with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Share your stories, your hopes, and your ideas for building a better tomorrow. Together, let's keep speaking truth to goodness, because goodness is all around.